Hey guys, and welcome to a Premier League roundup of Game Week 2. The first match we're looking at is the Everton-Arsenal match. Now that finished 2-2, and obviously Everton took a 2-0 lead, and to be honest, Arsenal were very disappointing, especially in the first half. Everton were dominating the passing, they were just running around Arsenal's defence looked poor. Then Giroud comes on a strike, and not many Arsenal fans seem to appreciate. Changes the game, they get 2 goals and play very well towards the end of the match. Could have even won it. Sanchez started the match in the striker position, and that didn't seem to work in my opinion. But Giroud apparently is injured now, and it could be up to 10 weeks. We'll see how that goes. Moving on to the Swansea-Burnley game. That finished 1-0 to Swansea, although Burnley played very, very well. Obviously, Burnley recently promoted from the Championship, and the fans will admit themselves they lack a bit of quality that the other teams do. So they did very well against Swansea. Could have easily drawn the match or even won the match, but in the end, Swansea's defence was too good, including the likes of Ashley Williams. Moving on to the next match. By the way, in the background is a Call of Duty 38-4-10 gameplay. Hopefully you're enjoying that. Anyway, moving on. Southampton versus West Brom. That was a very dull match, finished 0-0. Southampton were probably the better of the two sides, created a lot of chances, but West Brom's defence, in particular Andre Wisdom, was superb. Very stubborn, didn't let any chances through, and did very, very well. Then moving on to Crystal Palace versus West Ham. That's an interesting one because obviously Crystal Palace got rid of Tony Pulis about a week ago, so at the minute they don't have a manager, an official manager. I think it's Keith Millen who's taken charge for now. Crystal Palace lost the match 3-1 at home to West Ham. West Ham played well. The likes of Stuart Downing, Carlton Cole scoring, and Shamat scored for Crystal Palace, I believe. Crystal Palace, maybe they've just lost a bit of that energy they had under Tony Pulis. It'll be interesting to see who they sign as a new manager. Obviously Malky Mackay was heavily linked before those text messages news came out about some of the messages he had sent, which had been claimed as being racist. But he says himself he's not a racist. Anyway, we'll see what happens. West Ham dominated that match, to be honest, more chances, but I think Crystal Palace will get better towards as the season goes on with a new manager. Then moving on to the Chelsea-Leicester game. Leicester held Chelsea for the majority of the game and looked a very good team as well. In the end, Diego Costa scored a goal, as well as Eden Hazard, I believe, and the match finished 2-0. Chelsea obviously have got a lot of quality in their team, the likes of Oscar, Hazard, Diego Costa, Willian, Ramirez, Charlotte, the list goes on. They've got a fantastic squad. Leicester recently promoted, just like Burnley, did very, very well to keep it at 2-0. Could have even snatched a draw if they'd taken a few chances. Then moving on to another 0-0, probably the worst match of the Premier League so far. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. That ended 0-0, as I said. Hardly any chances in the game. Very boring game. Cabella had a few chances, but apart from that, it was very dull and boring, and no team looked like they really wanted to win. So both teams will maybe want to make a few more investments before the window ends. Obviously Roy Keane, assistant manager under Paul Lambert. That'll be interesting to see as the season goes on. So that's all the Saturday games reviewed. Now moving on to the Sunday games. Sunderland versus Manchester United. Sunderland did very, very well, getting a 1-1 result against Manchester United. Manchester United obviously got a lot of quality with the likes of Mata in their team, Rooney, Van Persie, Valencia, but there wasn't anything there. I know Mata scored, but he was really bad, to be honest. Hardly created anything. Obviously Di Maria looks like he's about to sign, so that'll really help the squad. He is a world-class player. Question marks over the price. Some people saying it's too expensive, but he is world class, there's no denying that, and will help the team a lot. Obviously Manchester United in a bit of trouble, only got 1 point from their first 2 games, so they will have to dramatically improve if they want to get anywhere near where they want to be. Moving on to the next game, Tottenham versus QPR. Tottenham dominated that 4-0. They had a goal which included a 48 pass routine before the goal went in. QPR just looked really bad. They need to make some new signings. There was hardly any quality there. They didn't look like they wanted to win the match. It was very unprofessional, really, in the way they played. Harry Redknapp, there's rumours that he might be sacked soon if things don't change and Tim Sherwood come in, but I would hate to say that because I believe he's a great manager, and obviously he has been at Tottenham in the past. Tottenham just had too much quality, the likes of Eriksen, Capoue, Adebayor, helping the team a lot. Then moving on to the second last game, Hull versus Stoke. There was a red card in that game for Hull, but Hull went 1-0 up and held Stoke for the majority of the game. But then finally, I believe it was Shawcross, bundled the ball in the about 80th minute and got a 1-1 draw in that game. But I believe Stoke will be disappointed with that, because obviously Hull were down to 10 men, so they'll have wanted a win. And then finally, the Monday game, Manchester City versus Liverpool. Manchester City just, they were too good for Liverpool that day. Obviously Balotelli just signed, but he didn't play in that game. Jovetic got a few goals, which was very, very good. Aguero got a goal after like 30 seconds, which was ridiculous. Jovetic looks good. Apparently Dzeko's injured, we'll have to see. Overall, Manchester City dominated the game, better passing, more slip passing, but I'm sure